Hi everyone, my name is Jason and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be building a catio onto my house. I originally had one here, but it was all pine and it rotted out. Back in 2020 when I built it, I could not find treated anywhere. So I built it all pine, knowing it would last about 5 years before it rotted. So it was rotting and I had to do my roof, so it was a good time to take it down. So rebuild it. It's going to be 8x8, all treated. And I'll show you what the material I'll be using today. We're building it here. New roof was put on. I just painted the trim, this on this side, so I could get the catio in so I didn't have to crawl up on top of that when I wanted to paint that. And here's the material we'll be using. Mostly 2x4x8 treated. I bought a 100-foot roll of hardware cloth. I had to buy that through Amazon seller. Home Depot and Menards, or nobody carried 100-foot rolls. They only carried 25, and it was a lot cheaper to get the 100-foot roll than the 25. Okay, so we got part of the wall up, and we're gonna go up this way. We're gonna run the fence up this way. So what I have to do next is, this is a 2x8. I'm gonna notch that out so it goes in between those 2x4s at the 4-foot mark. Then we're gonna put 2 more in, and these will serve as cat shelves as well. So I actually had to move from the sun over to the shade. So like this is gonna be in the middle. That's gonna notch out. That's my 4-foot mark where the fencing is gonna go on. And then I'm gonna put 2 more like that. This will also be a cat shelf. So I cut 6 like this. So I can use this as a template, and then I cut the other 5 like that. So I have 2 walls that'll have 3 shelves in each. Okay, we got 1 wall built. These 3 in the middle will be the cat shelves. So don't need a lot of strength in it. The strength should be on the 2x4s this way, because that wall will be going up. So I can make another one like that. This will be the north and south wall, and then the west wall will have the door in it. Then the east wall will be against the house. Okay, we got the second wall built. So now we have the north and south walls built. Next we're gonna build the west wall, which have the door in it. So we almost have the west wall built, which is the door side. We got 2x4s in where the fencing is gonna land on. That's a 48-inch mark. Then what we're gonna do next, we're gonna put 2x8s in here. We're gonna stagger them from this. So these will be in the middle so the cats can jump from shelf to shelf to shelf. And we'll have a really high shelf up here so they can sit above the door. It's the same design I had on the last one. Okay, we have the third wall built, which is a west wall. We put troughs in here and here. And this is our 48-inch mark for the fencing. That's 48-inch fencing. So the idea is that they will jump from here to here to here to here. Then this last one, and this is where the doors be framed in, and then they'll be able to jump up on top of the catio. We're gonna have like a cupola there or something, so one cat can sit up there. I haven't figured design out for that yet. Another thing about treated, that you have to screw it together. Otherwise, it'd be a lot faster if I use my framing gun with galvanized nails, but then but the way treated moves and twisted, it wouldn't hold. So the next step is to put it up. And it's gonna go where the old one was. This siding is ripped off next year. Off the window, air conditioning. So we're going to screw it on so we can pull it off when we do that siding. So I'm gonna clean all these rocks out, and I like to move this, but I can't unless I have equipment or something pretty heavy. And the cats like to jump on before. It was in the old Catio, so we're going to leave that. I'm going to redo the staircase. Now, it's really nice if I get all this rock out here and get sod. I mean, yeah, I got some fake grass, but it's nice to have real sod here. And I can't find any place that actually has sod. And there ain't any place nice enough in my lawn, which is mostly weeds, to actually cut a piece. And it's quite warm today. It's about 95 degrees today. And the heat don't bother me as much. But I'd like to get out of the sun a little bit. So that's why I'll be working on this next, to be in the shade. This is the last thing I did yesterday. It got to 98 degrees yesterday. This is a ramp I built. And I had to put a shelf on here. I was trying to get away from this because last time I had a shelf on here, a cat would sit here and prevent other cats from coming out. But I could not take a ramp from here down because it's rocking is in the way. So I had to put the shelf in to offset that ramp going down. And most of the time, I see the cats from the shelf to the rock to up on around the Catio. And this will get changed. This is just a 2x8. And I put a couple 2x4s down there just to get it strength, and I angle cut that so that goes down. I was going to cut grooves in it so they could get up better, but I think it's a long enough ramp where I don't have to worry about that. And of course, this will all get changed when I do the siding and window next year. I actually want to make a real nicer door. That's just an Amazon cheap one I bought. Still trying to figure out how to make one that's really nice. For now, we're just waiting for the rain to stop so we can start putting up walls. So we got the first wall I dug over here. So we're gonna get this leveled up on the top and bottom. Screw it here. Then when we get all three sides up, we'll straighten it and get it square. All right, so we have one wall up and leveled. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna have a slight gap around here, so I'm gonna fill that. It's slightly sloped going down here. So I'm gonna put rock around here underneath, supposed to prevent raccoons and other creatures from digging. I was originally gonna bury the fence down, but there's a lot of work, so there's a lot of rock in this. This used to be, many years ago, flowers and rocks. So now we're gonna put the next wall up, which is the west wall. All right, we got this wall done. And what's nice, it's 65 degrees out today, so it's a lot cooler than yesterday. So we'll work on the south wall next. And once you get up, we're gonna frame in the top also, because this whole entire closure is gonna be all enclosed with hardware cloth. Okay, so we have the third wall built, and I'm starting on the roof right here, the ceiling. Now, one problem I had is that I had to raise this side up to make it level. So I have a gap in the bottom, which I'm gonna fill with rock. And maybe after I get the fencing on, I may just tack another 2x4 going to the ground. Progress. Think about treat is how unstable it can get. So I'm gonna take a clamp, I'm gonna clamp that, then screw it in. And I used to do a lot of decks. We used to deck boards, used to have to use a flat bar as you went on to straighten that board out so it'll be straight. I just took that clamp up here to make that straight. Pretty easy, that's all I had to do to a few corners on this. All right, so we have the roof done. We got our 48-inch mark for the fencing, and we just put these two in for extra strength. I did add this shelf. This is a 2x12, which was on the original design. Nice taper off the bend to make it look a little nice, less sharp, because the cats do sit underneath here and then get shade. They can look at us in the window too. So the next thing we gotta do is we're going to frame the door. I'm not gonna install it until I get the fencing on. Now I was gonna have something up here I haven't figured out. I put this shelf in here so it could jump up, and I was gonna have a little opening up here into a cupola, but I can't figure that out yet. That's something I can add on later because I just want to get this fence in. So the door is done, and that 2x8 to top and bottom for extra strength. Put another one here, that way the door don't sag. I put another 2x4 here, that's to be a stopper. Then the barrel bolt and handle also go on this also. I have a lot of rain today, probably tomorrow. And I was really hoping to get that fencing on today. I don't think it's gonna happen. But what I can do today, my wife was talking about having somebody putting a wider shelf on here for the cat to sleep on. So I thought about, well, maybe a corner. And I thought, wait, I had two 2x8s left, which I have up here trying to keep dry in case I did get a break and I can put them on. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put 2x4s on each end here so it extends out on both sides. Then I'm gonna drop that 2x8 on top here, so the shelf will be close to 16 inches wide on both sides. All right, so we got these two shelves in. I say cut 2x4s underneath both of these on both sides. Screw it down really good. With treated, you have to screw it a lot because treated likes to twist and move. And if you screw it down enough, it won't do that. So next is the fencing. Okay, before we put the fencing on, I'll make sure this is square. We're going to measure each corner over there, and measure that way. All right, if y'all are familiar with these things, fence stables, I put these on last time. I cannot stand them. They're just really hard to nail on if you ever nailed these in. So we won't be using those. What I did I bought a special extra wide stapler that I'll be putting up with the air compressor. There's only 2 companies that actually make a stapler this wide, and Freeman was one of them. So we're using this to put up the fencing today. I have my fence cutting station set up, some plywood I have from roofing, using a 4-foot straight edge here just to cut it. This is a metal shears they'll be cutting the fencing with, and of course the marker for marking it. All right, so we got north, south side fence up, ceiling up. The hardest part of this whole thing was once I got that piece on, I had to get the other piece on because I had to nail it here at the 4-foot mark, is trying to crawl in here and reach my gun to get that. That's the most difficult part of the whole thing. And then these are just 2x12s I had in here. These are not fastened, they can move around. I had these in the old Catio as well. Now it's a matter of finishing up this front, getting the door fenced in, on, and we're gonna put a bottom plate. We're gonna tack a 2x4 all around the bottom here and double check and make sure it's level. Doors on, and just use some shims to shim it up to get the gap. And this is just all the old hardware that I had on the original Catio. I got the 4 hinges here, the handle, barrel bolt, and I got the spring there so it's automatically shuts. Now we're going to put the 3 2x4s on that bottom plate. This is done. Cats are, just let them in here. And the main purpose of this is to protect your cat, especially out here with coyotes. It took 35 2x4s, 60 feet of hardware cloth, 9 2x8s, and about, I want to say, 1,500 screws and 2,000 staples to complete this.